But let's roll right into 21 through 30. Let's close this out. Sean, we're going to start with you. What's your 21 through 30? Nuggets are on the clock.
All right, and I already gave this away a little bit in the 11 through 20 section, but at 21, Denver Nuggets via the Rockets taking Jaden McDaniels forward from Washington. 22, 76ers via the Thunder taking Nico Mannion, guard from Arizona. 23, Heat taking Trey Jones, guard from Duke. Then at 24, our guy, Aleke, fuck, I screwed it up. I knew I was going to fucking screw it up. At 24, the Jazz taking our guy, Alexei Pokusevski. There we go. Center from overseas. Thunder via the Nuggets then taking Leandro Bolomaro forward from FC Barcelona, or just Barcelona. 26, Celtics taking Daniel Oturu, center
football.
Minnesota. Yeah, I know. 27, no one's playing anything because of coronavirus. 27, Knicks via the Clippers taking Paul Reed forward from Deep Paul. 28, Raptors taking Zeke Naji, center from Arizona. 29, Lakers taking Kyra Lewis Jr., guard from Alabama. And then Celtics via the Bucks, Jameis Ramsey, guard out of Texas Tech.
Dave, before you give yours, the one thing, you know, it's the only thing I hate about these remote podcasts.
What's that?
So I was gearing up for the first question I'm going to ask you guys when we're done with this.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I go to hit like Control F for my browser, it makes that like boom kind of sound. And I'm like, great, Sean's talking. And it just went boom right over Sean while he's giving his mock. But what's your 11 through 30? Or I'm sorry, your 21 through 30.
Sure. Let's do 21 through 30. That sounds good. At number 21, I've got the Nuggets taking Tyrese Maxey. At 22, I've got the 76ers taking Trey Jones. 23, it's the Heat taking Kyra Lewis Jr. 24, the Jazz will be selecting Cassius Winston. 25, the Thunder going after one of them athletic guys in Precious Achiuwa. 26, it's the Celtics. It's Jameis Ramsey. 27, I've got the Knicks taking Josh Green. 28, I've got the Raptors taking Reggie Perry. 29, I've got the Lakers going Devin Dotson. And at 30, the Celtics going with Sean's boy, Alexei Pokusevski.
And then to round out mine, the Nuggets at 21, they're going to go Josh Green out of Arizona. The 76ers go Isaiah Stewart out of Washington. The Miami Heat go with Ayo Dosunmu out of Illinois. The Jazz at 24 go Reggie Perry forward from Mississippi State. The Thunder at 25 go Vernon Carey Jr. out of Duke. Then the Celtics, they go with my boy Cthulhu Daniel Oturu from Minnesota.
When you say it all together, it sounds even cooler.
So I was practicing it the whole time. And then the second I'm on the spot, I'm like, I wanted to say Othuru. But the Knicks at 27, they're going to go with Sadiq Bey. Easy's going to like that one. The Raptors at 28, going with Xavier Tillman out of MSU. Then the Lakers at 29 going Kyra Lewis Jr. out of Alabama Roll Tide. And then the Celtics via the Bucks, they go with Tyler Bay. 2 Bays in this draft. Bay. This one out of Colorado.
Nice.
But we are going to start with the question. This Cassius Winston fits into this. But right now, if we're looking at draft, the only people that this really affects is in the first round, it could affect Killian Tilly, could affect Cassius Winston. Other than that, it's a bunch of second-round guys like Azubuike out of Kansas, Howard out of Marquette, Peyton Pritchard out of Oregon.
Yeah.
The question I wanted to start off with is, do you see enough players, because of the whole coronavirus thing and the tournament being canceled? Mm-hmm. Everyone seems to be on the same page of the NCAA should offer an extra year of eligibility to seniors that want to come back. Do you see enough seniors wanting to come back and have another year of college basketball? More so, I would say, like a Killian Tilly, like a Cassius Winston. Like
Killian Tilly's been in college for like 5 years already.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to give...
He's never going to leave.
If you're going to give an extra year to people now, you got to give an extra year to everyone. Do you see notable draft guys for seniors, even though they may be second rounders? Do you see them saying, yeah, I would like to come back? And how could that affect the draft?
I could absolutely see seniors coming back if it were offered. I think the NCAA should offer it. we're taking away the chance that March provides, not only a spotlight, but like truly one of the most magical moments in college basketball. Every year we get something special. We get a number of moments that happen for different teams across the nation. I think they should open up for all seniors to come back. It's going to hurt with how scholarships work, but I'm sure they'll be able to find an answer. For the draft, Peyton Pritchard, great player. Kid just lives to get buckets. I could see him go back to because people don't take him seriously draft stock wise. He'll be a top of the second round kind of guy or mid second round. Sure, you should go back. Cassius Winston, kid loves college. And I am afraid that he would take it back again.
Hearing Izzo talk about him like made me want to cry. Like,
I know.
Just all the stuff that Cassius has been through,
yes.
And then he doesn't get to
how do you not root for that
pay
kid?
It off in the March Madness this year.
So again, I could see him go back as well. Those are the two main ones. I mean, as a bookie, I guess you're right because he's like he is who he is as a player, and in college he's like unstoppable defense. So might as well let him do him. But yeah, no, I mean I think it would be something incredible if the NCAA did open it up for seniors to come back.
You're an asshole if you don't think they should be allowed to come back. I mean, I don't think anyone's gonna fight against that. Draft wise though, I don't think it's really gonna be that big. The biggest one would be Winston, but and I think it is fairly plausible that he comes back. But outside of that, I don't think it's that important.
Are there any underclassmen that come back? Because like obviously the reason why earlier on before we started the podcast I threw Obi Toppin into this is because there are some people that are like, does somebody like an Obi Toppin where it's like, yeah, it could be a high draft pick, but I really want to like pay it forward with this Dayton team, and I want to basically run it back with this Dayton team.
I'm never going to call anybody dumb for wanting to do that. Like that's their life. That's what they're going to live. Obi Toppin's not going to be a top 10 pick next year. So you are either picking your college career or being a top 10 pick. Yeah. And you could go to a team like the Warriors and immediately start winning at the highest level, right? So with guys like that, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but Obi Toppin, I think, would be making a mistake. Let's say, looking at my mock draft, he could go 5 to the Warriors. If he said, no, I'm going to bounce and I'm going to go to college. Like, go get paid. Don't deal with the worst organization in sports in the NCAA and go start winning games at a truly important level next to Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, right? For these lower level guys, especially seniors, there's not too many that I think are massively, moving the needle. I think it's possible my guy Ayo Dosunmu would go back. I think it's possible,
I don't want him to come back.
That Paul Reed could go back. But outside of that, maybe Trey Jones. I don't really think it's going to be that impactful to the NBA or to the NBA draft, especially with these guys that are lotto protected. Guys might pull out because they think they can improve their draft stack, but other than that, I really don't see anybody messing around and not coming out.
So the one thing I am going to clear up, the whole reason why I say I don't want, because like Ayo, I'll be honest, I thought about like Ayo's one that I could see where it's like, you know what, I didn't get to finish what I wanted to. I want to come back for another one. And there are some other guys that's like, I'll be interested to see if there are guys that are maybe late first rounders, mid first rounders that are like, fuck it, I'm going to come back. Kind of like what Ayo was last year. Me personally, the only reason I'm like, Ayo, go to the NBA, it's been nice, is because we got this kid, Adam Miller, coming in from Morgan Park. And if Ayo comes back, then Adam Miller is like for sure going to decommit from Illinois. Because he wants to be the guy. So it's more of like a, hey, you go do your thing. We got the next guy coming in fresh. So that's why I kind of whispered no, don't want him back. But
I love that too, because that makes a ton of sense because Ayo Dosunmu is from Morgan Park too.
Yeah. But it's just we got such a good team coming in next year that I don't want the possibility of a wrench being thrown into it. But Winston is a guy we wanted to talk about. Lewis Jr. was another one that we wanted to talk about with Cassius Winston. What is it that Sean? I think you were the one that highlighted him. What's one of the things you want to hit with Cassius Winston? Because I almost had him in mind. I almost had him go to the Jazz where Dave had him, but then I kind of backtracked and went with Reggie Perry. Is Cassius Winston even going to be a first rounder? Because you don't have him in your first round either. Dave's the only one that does.
Well, I highlighted him because it was mainly to frame it in the way that this is one of the guys that is currently in our first round that could possibly end up, coming out of the draft totally and then go back to college.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've talked about Cassius before, and he's really one of these guys that, like a Malcolm Brogdon, probably won't get drafted in the first round due to his age. And I think that, he's more of a for sure thing than a Jemias Ramsey or a Josh Green or a Devin Dotson. Right. Or, even to that fact, and Nico Mannion, like he is more of a for sure thing in this league than those guys, but it's just the idea of a ceiling. So, with Cassius, he could fall to the second round. He'll be a steal, but I also think it's extremely possible that he goes back and plays for his guy, Tommy Ebzo.
I just,
Go ahead,
what's
Dave.
not to love about a player who has incredible shooting splits, shown great leadership skills, top locker room guy, good facilitator, decent defender. Like there's nothing to like pick apart on his game, and it just, I get it. He's old, it is what it is.
That's
No, but
that's the
I mean,
only
if we're
thing.
looking at draft history, those guys don't get drafted high enough. I mean, that's really it. I mean, Cassius Winston can play basketball, and that's why he might enjoy John saying that he's got a low ceiling. He does, but again, he doesn't have that low of a floor either. I mean, his floor is extremely high. So I think that that's exactly what it is.
Then let's move on into this next guy. I kind of asked you guys about this before we recorded, mainly because Tankathon, we've talked about big board compared to draft, but they have him now as the 11th ranked prospect.
Isn't Tankathon just one guy?
I don't know.
I feel like it's one guy.
I don't think that he's a draft expert. I think it's a dude having fun. So sorry for saying fuck that guy, but like, he's not a draft expert.
The reason why I ask is Alexei Pokustevsky, is he really the 11th ranked prospect in college basketball, or in the draft, I should say, since he's not college?
Definitely not in college basketball.
You know what I meant. Like, is he really the 11th ranked prospect in your draft, or in the draft, I should say?
Whoa. Nightbot just went off on John.
Yeah.
There. How do we unban John? What the fuck? Yeah, with Pokustevsky, I mean, it's really a guy that is a potential play. Right now, he's 7 feet tall, reported 7 feet wingspan. You're like, wow, this guy's probably a monster. We talk about 7-footer James Wiseman. He's 240. Well, Alexei Pokustevsky is 200 pounds. Dude is extremely rail thin, but due to that, at least, thinness and that lack of weight, he is a guy that, at least for the position, is pretty explosive. I see him to be a very athletic 5, and if he's able to keep up that athletic ability while also maintaining, while also adding weight, he can be a guy that really just jumps off the page. He is a guy that, at least according to Stephen, could go anywhere from the back of a rotation guy to a core player. So if he's able to add weight, make sure that he is still an athletic player while adding that weight, and could improve his shot. Right now, he's about 32.6% from 3, but he's around 34 or 74% from the line. I think that he could be a guy that can absolutely be a stretch 5, possibly a stretch 4 as well, and be a pretty dominant player on both sides of the floor. So he is a project. He's going to take time, and that's why I have the Jazz going with him. They need a guy that has athleticism at the big spot. They lost Paul Millsap, so he could be a guy that at his entire peak could end up helping them with a larger athletic big man. Or they also lost Favors too. I think that was more the guy that I was thinking, not Paul Millsap, where they lost. But yeah, I think with the Jazz, and especially Pokustevsky, wherever he ends up, he's going to be a project. He needs time, but I think a team like the Jazz could afford it.
I almost had him actually go to the Bucks at 19. because I saw him as an eventual successor to Brook Lopez. But he's just someone who I haven't seen him against top level competition yet, and I get it. He's raw, he's thin, he's young, and he's tall, and he can shoot. Like, there are things to like about that game. I just don't. I haven't had enough time to watch him against good talent. Maybe over time I'll get to watch some more tape. Like I said, now that there's no more games happening anytime soon, got a chance to watch some more of him and see what he could project to be. But yeah, he's a blank slate. He's a big five who has athleticism and a touch. Like, I understand why, a lot of different sites and writers have him highly ranked. It just hasn't clicked yet for me.
And John in Twitch chat throwing out the he's a unicorn just makes me think of the whole
there's one.
Is he the next KP?
There's one.
Is he the next KP? But moving on into Kyra Lewis Jr. was the other prospect that we wanted to hit. To me, I personally had him go to the Lakers only because it's like the Lakers are a weird team to me overall of like, what do they need? Because like there are positions obviously that they need, but it's what is LeBron James gonna not necessarily want them to pick, but what's gonna help LeBron sooner? Because they're not a team that's obviously like, oh, we're gonna develop this guy. No, it's like, who's a guy that can help us when it comes to winning a championship and kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I'm blanking already on it. Just make an impact day one with them. And with Kyra Lewis Jr., I almost thought of like, yeah, he's not the perfect prospect, but he can score and he's defensively can help this team out in a position like the point guard where they could use some of that from their guard position.
With Kyra Lewis Jr., he's a guy that can make plays on both ends of the floor, and the fact that Rajon Rondo's still getting minutes is just a sign of how much emphasis that LeBron James has on this team. He has been really bad this year, Rondo, and I think that Kyra Lewis Jr., very active defensively, will create a lot of transition for the Lakers, which I absolutely love. And their guard position has been lacking this year. They need a secondary playmaker, which I don't know Lewis is as of yet. He might be able to make plays in the sense of, driving to the bucket, kicking out, and then, moving the ball around and, drawing defenses in. I see him mainly as a scorer, but he could end up, evolving into a secondary ball handler and being a guy that, could be that Rondo. I don't think he'll ever be a playmaker like Rondo is, at least in the sense of passing. No, I mean, there's not a lot of great, players that match up Rondo-wise passing, but they do need a guard that can make an impact. And Lewis Jr. can make an impact both defensively and offensively. I think the biggest thing that holds him back from being higher up is his inability to be a next level playmaker.
That's fair. But to counter that, I'm higher on him than both of you, and the kid's is just absolutely lightning in a bottle. Like, in transition, he is unstoppable. He is active with his hands. He is, he's a smart, talented young kid. And I do like the Jared Butler call out. He's one of those guys outside looking in, similar play style, similar build, but I think Kyra just has a different upside, and I really like his fit on the Heat, going a little bit higher than you guys in this draft.
Well, let's look in then to the three teams we got and close this on out. First one, Sean wanted to take a look at the Thunder, and also, Sean, with the Thunder, you got a new addition to the mock draft. The first time we've gotten Leonardo, if I'm saying that right.
Leandro.
Leonardo, his evil twin brother, onto the mock draft. What's your thought process with the Thunder, and why did you have them go with the young stud out of Barcelona?
And that's the thing, is that I wanted to talk mainly about what their draft strategy is going to be, because we've seen them time and time again. They have a shit ton of picks coming up. So that's going to be something that plays into their factor. But we've seen them also take guys that are, mainly projects. We haven't seen them go after those guys that are, studs, that are, built out. They wouldn't be taking a Cassius Winston, I'll say that. But what I have seen from Leandro that I do think is at least, showing off his NBA potential. Plays with a high motor. He's very quick. Pretty good driver. Not the most explosive athlete, but he's fairly athletic. I mean, he's got the athletic of an NBA player. I don't know if his shot is there yet, but everything that pieces together a shot. The feet, the hands, the follow through, elbow tucked in. I mean, he's got everything there. He needs work and time, but I think if he gets that work and time, he could be a guy that absolutely is a rotation to starter player for the Thunder. So I want to know if you guys are taking in, what we've seen in the past from teams, especially what we've seen, them taking our guy last year with the weird head, Darius Baisley, the super freak athlete who didn't know how to play basketball, totally blanking on his name, from Kentucky, was in the dunk contest.
Hamidou
Diallo. And then also, I think that Palermo can be in that same exact frame of, he is a guy that has skills right now, but I don't know if he's there yet. But I don't think the Thunder really care that much. They're going to give him time if they think he'll be there at some point. And I do think that he can be there at some point. So I would love him to see, him in the starting lineup. I think he's a more athletic, better defending, passer. And he could possibly be the same shooter that, an Abdel Nader is. I think that he has the ability.
It's a wet boy there. Some high praise.
That boy before good old LeBron James.
LeBron James, yeah.
But I love Leandro.
To answer your question, yes, I did take their draft history into stock because I did take Precious Achiuwa here, and he's big, he's strong, he's fast. Is he good at basketball? TBD. But he's someone who
contest.
Yeah, he's someone who is physically gifted. And as he continues to learn the game and learn, what his exact role will be this year or this upcoming year in the NBA, very intrigued to see what they could do with him. And I think they're the perfect team to develop someone with his skill set.
Yeah, for me, it was, if Precious would have been here, he probably would have been the pick for me. At this point, it was like, I really didn't have a power forward that I was ready to say, like, yes, that's the one that can go there. That's why I just kind of copied what I did in the last one, where 2.0 I had Cthulhu out of Minnesota going there. And this year, or this edition, I should say, Vernon Carey was the one that fell. So I went with the center, even though they got Steven Adams for one more year. Nerlens Noel, are they going to re-sign him? Is he going to go sign somewhere else? We don't know what's going to happen. So that's why I went with a center for the Thunder. And then a pick that I switched while we were doing 11 through 20, and I will be honest, Easy kind of sold me on this one. The Knicks at 27. So Sean's got Paul Reed, Dave's got Josh Green. I originally had Tyler Bay because I originally was deciding between the two Bays here, Sadiq or Tyler. And originally I went with Tyler Bay because, like, overall, he's a guy that's grabbing more rebounds and I believe is scoring a little bit more than what Sadiq Bey was doing at Villanova. But then Easy willed me into this one. He kept mentioning Sadiq Bey to the Knicks. Oh, I hope he falls. So I went ahead and switched it. This is just one that I'm taking one of the threes here, one of the Wangs, after getting LaMelo to be my point guard of the future at number 2. What do you guys think the Knicks do with this second pick, getting it from the Clippers in the Maruk deal?
I think I screwed up here a bit. I was wondering where Josh Green went, and that's where he should have gone. Was the Knicks. So I had Paul Reed here. I don't love the fit now because you look at Paul Reed, and Paul Reed is a 4, plays great defense, and has shown the ability to shoot before. Taking on more of a load this year, so his numbers aren't great, but I think he does have a shot. He has a great high motor, high energy. He's a great addition to a team. I think I'd probably slide him down, though, to the second round and move in Josh Green. At least with the Knicks, though, I mean, this is a team, if they're not going LaMelo Ball, which I don't have them going, would need to address the guard position at this point, and Josh Green, I think, would be a great fit there. Great 3-and-D player, pretty athletic as well. I think he'd be a great fit in that team. And if Frank Ntilikina is able to show a more consistent game, I do think that he can be a 1. I know that we've talked about him before, and maybe he's a 2, but he does have a great flow. He has the great ability to, when he is consistent at least, he does have the great ability to attack, pressure, penetrate, and then once he's penetrated, he's got those long arms that can, extend out of a defense and dish out. And I think that at least if the Knicks are here, they could take another power forward now they have 19. But if they go guard, I think it's possible that they go Paul Reed here. But overall with the Knicks, I think that whether it be at the 2 or at the 27, you need to address either the big or guard situation or the wing situation. So, if they end up at 4 and they take Denny Avdia, good on them. But you're looking at a big that can play, the 3, the 5 or the 4, or you're looking for a wing that can play the 3 or the 4, or you're looking for a 2 guard or a 1 guard. So the Knicks really can't go wrong when it comes to addressing a position. But I do think that if they take a rim running 5, they'd be, screwing up. But yeah, I think with the Knicks, a lot of possibilities here. And I think that Josh Green is a great pick, Dave. I should have made it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for covering my pick. So I'll jump in the comments then. J-Dub saying Josh Green's overrated. It's interesting because he started off the year so highly rated and then fell off the face of the fucking earth. But I do agree with you in the fact that he has one of the highest motors in this draft. The kid lives for hustle. All the credit it's on him. He's not going to shut it down. He's not going to give up in a game. He's always out there, always hustling. The shooting for them, easy, absolutely is needed. That's why I have it. They get additional spacing, someone who doesn't need the ball in his hands to make shots. Put him in a room, make him watch Klay Thompson highlights and be like, be that guy for us.
Make him watch Klay
Thompson.
Like,
he's never going to be a 20-point-a-game scorer, but you need someone to help space out this team because RJ Barrett needs space to work. And right now, every time he goes in the lane, there's like 3 guys there. He is such a better player than we're seeing out of him so far for the Knicks. So I like the ability to add Josh Green to this team. And with my draft, it ends up going LaMelo and Josh Green. I think it's a fantastic draft haul for the Knicks this year.
See a Klay comp, or do you see more of a Jimmy Butler comp?
I don't know that he is going to be as on ball as Jimmy Butler. Maybe it's something he grows into, similar to how Jimmy at the NBA level had to do that. But right now, I would want him just he is pure hustle and making shots. The defense. No. Jimmy Butler, I mean, who wouldn't love to have Jimmy Butler, but I don't think so.
And before we go to the last team, I do love how we just randomly just jumped up to 12 viewers that we're watching now when we were like at 6. So of course the 21 through 30 would get the bump.
Yeah,
absolutely.
21 through 30 all day, baby. But the last team we're taking a look at are the Toronto Raptors. We posted, I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was me that found it on Twitter and put it in there that people posted that the Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup. The next year Stanley Cup got canceled. Then it was the Blue Jays. The lockout happened right after. And now the Toronto Raptors win the title. And now we get the maybe end of the year canceled. But with the Raptors, they have the 28th pick. With me, this is an easy one. Until I know what's happening with Marc Gasol, I'm going to pick a center here. And for me, it's Xavier Tillman. Like, I love what this guy can do at Michigan State. The boards that he brings down. The kind of presence that he brings to a team in the low post. To where I go ahead and I make this pick 10 times out of 10. Until I know Marc Gasol is coming back. Because I don't know if he's coming back. I don't know if the Raptors are going to want to pay him. So that's why I think a big is in the cards for the Raptors here. What do you think, Dave? Because you are the only one that did not have a center going to the Raptors.
I mean, I went with Reggie Perry, and he's 6'10". That's big enough to be a center in the NBA, right? Teams rolling out smaller lineups.
Close.
It's totally fine. I mean, yeah, teams roll out lineups with a 6'7" center, so I don't want to fucking hear it from you. Look, I love this kid's skill set. I think he can do a little bit of everything, which really helps the fact that the way the Raptors develop their players, I think he's a great fit. Yeah, Perry is huge. Thank you. He's going to be just fine. He's 6'10". He gets boards. He gets points. He moves the ball around. He's not just someone who's going to stand under the bucket and do nothing for you. He can move off ball. He has a good touch. Like, he's seriously like a modern 5 in my mind, and I really like his game. So I think he will develop well under them, but he's a great rebounder, and he can move the ball. He's not inept, and yeah, that's my piece. I'm not gonna try to talk too much shit, but
I went the same with bigs too here, and I went Zeke Naji, and we talked about rebounding, the fact that they might have to replace either Marc Gasol or Serge Ibaka. So I went Zeke Naji. The fact that he's Jan 9, 2001, 19 years old, won't be 20 until next season in January. He's a guy that right now is grabbing 3.1 offensive boards per game. Got a great high motor. Seems like he has the ability to stretch the floor at some point too. Just seems like a guy that the Raptors would love to get their hands on and mold and grow into the right way. It seems like this team has a great knack for seeing players and then developing and making the most out of them. And some of that is to the players right in their own. I don't think all of Terrence Davis is the fact that Terrence Davis is on the Raptors. I mean, Terrence Davis worked his ass off to get where he is, but I love the upside and potential of Zeke Naji. Right now, he's grabbing 3.1 boards, like I said, offensively, and I don't even think he's fully filled into his frame. So this is a guy that can get bigger. He can be a guy that can also stretch out the floor at some point in his career as well. Seems like he's got all the tools, and the Raptors seem like the team that would just be the one to unlock them.
Well, anything else that we missed in this mock draft, guys? Anything that we need to touch on or finish up before we wrap this stuff up?
If we missed anything, I think it's our fault because we've been talking for about 4 hours.
It has been 4 hours and 14 minutes that we've been live.
I want to say the hilariousness of the 76ers.
Okay.
Because you're giving him Isaiah Stewart and Sean's giving them Nico Mannion. And Sean even joked about it himself, giving the 76ers a point guard who can't shoot threes. So
super selfish.
And super selfish. I went for the selfless Trey Jones who plays defense and shoots.
Mm-hmm.
But Ricky, Isaiah Stewart, someone who is not on my board or Sean's board.
Oh, he fell. He's like top 4.
The dude, he is dominating college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess other than that, what do you see in him?
I'll be completely honest. This was a kind of self-full pick for me, where I originally had them go with Ayo Dosunmu, but then I thought about it and I was like, I really want Ayo to go to the Miami Heat. So then I put Isaiah Stewart just kind of as a filler to the 76ers. I mean, can play defense, is not a completely rounded player. I think there's things that he needs to work on. But he's a guy that can grab boards for this team. He's a pretty good free throw shooter. But he could just come in there, grab some rebounds, fill in, because the last thing they need is, and this was my thought process with AO, the last thing they need is someone to take the ball out of Ben Simmons' hands, because Ben Simmons, kind of like the same debate you had with the Mavericks, where I didn't want AO to go there because then he takes the ball out of Ben Simmons' hands, and Ben Simmons' game is having the ball in his hands, being the point forward for that team.
Gotcha. I was just curious because it's one of those, like backup big. I get it because Embiid obviously is
injury.
Embiid, and he did dominate Zeke Naji in his last game. To be fair, Isaiah Stewart popped off. I think he had like 29 over him, so credit to him. But yeah, that was it.
But that is going to do it for the Primetime Podcast. Thank you guys for watching on Twitch TV /MostVal Podcast. If you're on YouTube, that's how you watch us live. We're live usually every week. Today I want to thank everyone for kind of rolling with the punches with us. The coronavirus stuff with our studio being shut down for the foreseeable future. We'll have updates in real time when we get those. But thank you guys for rolling through the punches and having the kind of being okay, I should say, with the audio only here on Twitch, because I know it's video and you like to see our beautiful faces
Don't lie,
each
Ricky.
and every week.
You just did audio only because you don't want to take a shower.
Well, there's not just that. Like, I was thinking where it's like I had taken a nap before the podcast, and that was when I was going to shower. But also, it'd be really awkward where it's like you guys are sitting there talking, and I'm just sitting there looking at the camera.
I could turn on a
like,
webcam.
making like weird faces.
I could turn on my webcam.
It's unfortunate the sexiest person on this podcast, though, would not be able to turn on a webcam.
Yeah.
So true.
You were in a studio at work, but thank you guys for rolling with the punches. Also, patreon.com/mostviolentpodcast. Thank you to our patrons who help us each and every month do these podcasts at the best of the ability and help support us. We would be nothing without our patrons, and you can help support us at patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. But that is going to do it for Sean Anderson, who is somewhere unknown, for Dave, who is in his house, and for me, who is sitting in my boxers. Probably the best part about this podcast. I did not have to put on pants. Thank you guys for listening. And as always, have a good day, everybody.